Hey gang, it's Devin. So welcome to milestone 7. So what we're going to do in this milestone is we are going to deploy a bunch of Linux boxes. So to start out the milestone, you're going to create a base VM based upon Rocky Linux 9.1. I have a script linked here that you can use to do a sysprep. Basically, Rocky is like CentOS and CentOS is like Red Hat. So this is a RHEL or Red Hat Enterprise Linux-like OS, so the script should work. So pull that down. You can either pull it down from my machine that's running in my office, or you can pull it down from the internet. But the idea is that you create that base VM, and you can see that it's sitting here right there. All right. So the next step is you're going to configure your 40 firewall so that traffic is statically routed from the 40 WAN to your Blue network. So in other words, if you're on, say, your Ubuntu box and you ping 10.0.5 anything, right, it's going to be routed to the front end interface of your firewall Blue 1, specifically this IP. So that's what it should be. Remember, we ran that Ansible playbook to set that. So Blue One's 40 WAN IP is dot 200. So let's pop in on 40 Blue One. Actually, let's not do that. We're going to go to 40 Firewall, because this is where we're going to create the static route. Okay, so you have a couple options. So if you remember, right, this is how you create a default gateway. So 0.0.0.0/0 is pointing to, basically our physical gateway in the classroom. You at home, that might be 192.168.1.1 if that's your network. So we're going to create yet another route. Now, some of you have taken advanced network design. You can feel free to set up OSPF. You can set up RIP if you want to. If you want to use a dynamic routing protocol, that's cool with me. But this is really the easiest way. So if 40 firewall sees 10.0.5. Something, it's going to point it right over to your firewall Blue One. Okay, so all that is just change your setters, your set protocol static route, that command line sequence to include this line right here, route 10.0.5.0/24, where the next hop is dot 200. So make that happen, commit and save. You can do this manually on your 40 firewall. All right. So the next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to run an Ansible playbook to create a DHCP pool on firewall Blue One. So when a box is on the Blue network and it comes alive, it's going to receive a DHCP address from your Blue firewall. And we're going to do this a little bit differently. So if you remember, when we did our Ansible playbook on BioOS initially, we created a template file for the configuration. We're going to change things around just a little bit. We're going to change the inventory. We're going to convert it to YAML format because it just looks better. And we're going to use some BioOS commands that have been exposed to Ansible. You're also, after this, actually, I'll cover this later. Let's take care of the DHCP pool, and then I'll cut another video to discuss, creating these Rocky Linux clones and bringing them up on their new DHCP interfaces. I'll do 2 videos here. All right. So let's take a look at the inventory first. So let me pop into here. So if you remember, we had this firewall blue bars.txt. So this was the standard INI format. We're not doing anything special with BioOS here, but we're going to go ahead and convert this file to this format. Okay, so we have a group called BioOS, and in that group, it is one host, right? We're going to call it Blue One Firewall. We have the LAN IP address. Let me make sure that's right. Let me go back here. BioOS config. Bear with me. firewall blue one. I knew there was something off about that. Let me fix that right now. Now, we're not going to be using that variable per se in this playbook, but we're going to be using the LAN IP, the LAN. So you're going to have to add this stuff. So DHCP has an option to expose the name server for boxes that come up on that network. Now, Blue is going to have their own domain name server. Eventually, it's going to be on 10.0.5.5. We don't have that yet. Shared network. This is a parameter that's passed to DHCP. So this is going to be the name of our DHCP pool, and we're going to call this network in the future blue1.local. I included the MAC address here. We're going to use that later. For some of our Linux boxes, it's not quite necessary here, but I just copied that from my vars.txt right there, and I put it in the other one. All right, moving right along. So this vars is almost the same, right? So, oh, by the way, remember, YAML replaces the equals with the colon, right? So this has changed, right? So we're going to use a key called Ansible connection, and the value is network CLI. So Ansible is smart enough to talk BIOS, right? And then we're telling it, hey, the network OS on the other end is BIOS, and we can go ahead and explicitly state that the user is BIOS, so we don't have to type that into our playbook. Okay, so create this, right? And remember, don't use tabs, use two spaces. It'll save you a lot of hate and discontent, and make sure you're consistent about that spacing. All right, let's take a look at our playbook. Okay, so right up top, so we SSH in, the hosts are BIOS. So if we had multiple hosts, it'd run against all of them. This is just a debugging command to reach out to BIOS and just, hey, show me the version, right? And then print out that version information here. This is going to be helpful to you later when you get into more complex scripts where you register a version, or you register the output of a given command into a variable called version, and then you just dump it out. Okay, so we're gonna execute these raw BIOS commands for DHCP, and these are how they look. So some of you have done this in classes before, but you can just repeat them here. So I would try doing it manually on the box itself. Grab a snapshot and try configuring this manually. But in the end, you're gonna have to do something similar to this. So you're gonna pass in. You're going to set the DHCP server to be listening on your LAN IP, and this is important so you don't have two DHCP servers knocking heads, right? And definitely don't run this on the classroom VM network, because you'll be serving out DHCP to the entire classroom, and you'll cause some professors some hate and discontent. If you want to do that, go ahead, but we'll find out who it was. And these are the other parameters. And this probably looked very familiar to you from, say, Sys255, where you create an ISC DHCP server. So the pool is going to start at 75. It's going to go to 125. So let's run this. Let's pop into my Blue One firewall, and I'm going to just show that there's nothing up my sleeve, right? So show service. Let me pop in here, configure. Show service. Nothing up my sleeve. No DHCP services. So let's go ahead and run the playbook. It's actually in the wrong place. So this should be here. All right, let's give it a go. Oh, I didn't want usage. Let's remove that. Okay, and off it goes. And if someone wants to take a look at that warning, this is new in the newest version of Ansible. It's very likely we can get rid of our dependencies on Paramiko by installing yet something else. So if someone wants to take a look at that and let me know what your results of your research is, that'd be awesome. Okay, there's another warning message here, and that's okay. All right, looks like, so yellow means something was modified, right? Green means nothing was modified. Read-only operation, but it worked. And I'm pretty sure you all know what red means. All right, let's go back to the firewall. And let me repeat my command and take a look. So I now have DHCP services running, and those are the parameters. So you should be able to do something similar to that. I'm going to stop the video right now. So this is going to be the first video that basically talks about creating the Rocky Linux VM and takes you all the way through creating the playbook. Okay, we'll do this in another video. I wish you luck.